Hello, and welcome to Conversations with Reverend G. I am Reverend Grenetta Mason, aka Reverend G, and I'm here every Monday night on WEMS Radio Live from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m., bringing you conversations with guests from all walks of life and with all different perspectives. And we come together and we talk about life, we talk about love, and we talk about spirituality. We talk about spirituality from a practical point of view. How does it really support you in your everyday life? What spiritual practices do you use when you need to be refreshed, when you need clarity, when you just need a break? I talk about a spiritual toolkit, and the spiritual toolkit is all the practices that are personal for you that you use when you need support. One of the things that I'm big on is consistency. You know how we'll start something, we'll do it for a little while, and then we'll stop. And the hardest thing is to get back and do it again. So I'm a big proponent of get up, do it again, and the consistency is what really works. So you can find me every day on Facebook as Reverend Grenetta Mason and on Instagram as Rev Grenetta. I also have a YouTube page as Reverend Grenetta Mason. Please go over and subscribe. Tonight, I have a really, really great special guest. And my show, one of the things that I really like to do is support you in finding joy and living your best life. So we come together each Monday night to touch, move, and inspire you. We bring you different things that we hope that you can take away. Tonight, my guest is Amina Hassan. Amina is a writer and an entrepreneur, and I'm so glad to have her here tonight. Hey, Amina.
Hey, Grenetta.
Hey, welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you on the show tonight. I said you're a writer and entrepreneur, and I know you're many, many more things, right? And we'll get to all of those things, right? Let's start by talk to us about your writing. I know you're a poet, and how you got started writing and what inspired you to write or to become a writer.
So what started me in writing, I started writing at a very young age. I grew up with four of my siblings,
Mhm.
three older and one younger. And even though like we had a full house, like I found myself being alone a lot of the time. I was
Mhm.
also like I feel like I'm my mother's most quiet child.
Okay.
I wasn't very expressive, and the
Mm.
way that I would express myself was through writing. And
Mhm.
so I would write stories.
Mhm.
I loved horror, so I was always writing like some kind of scary story. And
Mhm.
then I would start incorporating like characters that reminded me of myself into the writing, and
Mhm.
it just expanded from there.
Mhm. Mhm. That sounds good. So you started writing very young, right? And so where are you now with your writing, and what's next for that?
So right now, I had started a blog in 2017,
Mhm.
and it's called Mina Applebaum, and it's
Mhm.
pretty much me just sharing different experiences in my life, things that happened in my past, and like things that happen now, and how the two connect and lessons that I've learned. And so I stopped doing that for a while, but I've recently started like writing again.
Mhm.
So I'm going to get back to posting on that. And also, I'm very interested in like writing for like screenplays. So I've
Mhm.
also started looking into that. And
Mhm.
I have a bunch of ideas.
Mhm.
So just learning how to like break into that,
Mhm.
um, just doing research on how to do that.
Mhm. So, your blog, you talked about different experiences in your life, right? I
Yeah.
know that. Can you talk to us about some of the, I guess, one of the experiences that you would like to share about that was important to you that has made you who you are or given you some inspiration?
Let me think. So one of the stories that I've written, I don't know how this is going to go over, but whatever, right? Um,
It doesn't matter. Let's go with it, right? It's like,
um, I wrote a post about my first CD that I ever bought was Beyonce's "Dangerously in Love" CD.
mm-hmm.
So at the time, like I was really into Beyonce. She had like gold braids. I had gold braids. You know, one could say I thought I was Beyonce.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not. But I was a teenager, and sometimes teenagers rebel and lose their minds a little. And it was
Mhm,
one time where, I guess I thought a little too much Beyonce in my head, and I
mhm,
like outspoke to my mother. I was rude to her,
mm.
and usually when you say something out your mouth to your mother, you're expecting to hear like, uh, "Are you crazy?" or
Mhm.
"What did you just say?" But instead, my mother said, "Oh, you must think you Beyonce."
No.
And to make a long story short, it did not end well for me. I was definitely not Beyonce.
Mhm,
Yeah, she had to put me back in my place. And
mhm,
that it's stories like that. Like
mhm.
at the time, it definitely was not funny, but like I could find the funny in a lot of things that happen in my past now, and that's what I write about.
Mhm. So, I know that, like you were talking about rebelling. Well, you were a teen parent, right?
Mm-hmm.
And talk about that experience as a teen parent. And so, give us a little synopsis on. I know you dropped out of school, and I know you tell us that story,
Okay.
right?
So, I guess another typical teenage thing. At a certain age, I really I was always good in school, like always
Mm,
got good
okay.
grades and everything.
Mm,
But at a certain age, um, being socially accepted became more important than my academics. And so that was my focus, which
mhm,
took me down the wrong road because, I'm just trying to fit in. I'm doing whatever to fit in. And what I didn't know is while I'm out here trying to fit in with the kids that I thought were cool,
mhm,
these cool kids were still doing their work. So
mhm,
I'm sitting here slacking on my work, trying
mhm.
to keep up with them, and meanwhile I'm falling further and further behind. And so I winded up like a super senior in high school. All
Mhm.
my friends graduated, and it was just like I don't want to be in the school anymore. So I dropped out. Um,
As a senior in high school, you dropped out?
yeah, so
Oh,
I
okay.
was like 18.
Oh, okay.
But I knew I wasn't going to graduate because I wasn't doing the work. Like
Oh, okay, okay,
senior
okay.
in age, but like my credits, I was like a 10th grader. So
Okay.
yeah. So I was like, I'll go to a program and try to get like a GED or something. But
Mhm,
before that happened, I I got pregnant
mhm,
with
mhm,
my first daughter
mhm.
at age 19.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, I winded up having her the
Mhm,
day after my birthday.
mhm, mhm.
So that was a good trick
Right. Mhm,
on me. But yeah, I winded up having her, and then I was like, I cannot like the road I'm going down. I can't do this and have a child. And so I was like, I need to get back on track. And
mhm.
I winded up going to the Queen's EEOC, I think.
EOC,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So
Wow, I work at the Manhattan
you
EOC,
told me, and I was
right?
like, "Oh, that's so crazy." But yeah,
That is.
I
It's
went to the one in Queens and winded up getting my GED, and
mm,
then I went to your college
mhm,
afterwards.
mhm.
It took me a while. It took me like 5 years to get out of there because while I was in there, I had my second daughter, and so
Oh, okay.
I had to take a break. But
Mm,
I did what I had to do. There was times where I even had to bring my daughter to school with me, and thankfully I had professors that were understanding and would let me bring her to class. And 5 years later, I got my bachelor's degree in accounting.
Wow, that's really an inspiring story, and I love it because I didn't know you went to the Queen's EOC.
Yeah.
And last, I think 1 week, I was like, I never get a chance to talk about the EOCs, but I love
Mhm.
the EOC. I mean, I work there, but the
Mhm.
impact, the people that come through, and the differences that we make. You being able to go to the Queen's EOC, get your high school equivalent, and I know they're connected with your college, so
Yeah.
you were just like uh just the success story for me of like if I saw one of the people that I deal with, and we're connected with the BMCC, and our goal is
Okay.
yeah, so you will find a lot of MEOC students at BMCC because that's our college. So I always like to plug the EOCs. Here's a success story, right? And it's
Great
free. That's right.
program. A
Yeah.
great program. Like I really enjoyed it there, and they didn't make me feel any kind of way. They were very accepting. They were very helpful as far as getting me into college. So
Mhm.
if anybody is listening who is like, I don't have a high school diploma, look into the EEOC because it's a really good program.
Yeah, and it's all free. Remember
Yeah,
that too.
it
Yeah,
is free.com. Okay.
free.com, right? And even now they also because as time changed and things are going on, they have programs like free OSHA training, free security guard training, so it's
Yeah.
really good that this program, even if after you have your high school diploma, they can give you a trade or skill and pay for
Mhm.
everything. So it really is a great program, you
Yeah.
know. I know that you talked about being the mother of two daughters, right?
Mhm.
Let's talk about what that's been like for you. You are like 19 years old as the mother of two daughters, right? So you have a teenager now, right?
Yeah, she's she's 16 in her junior year of high school.
Wow.
Yeah.
What has your parenting been like pre-COVID, post-COVID, and now with the kids?
Um, so pre-COVID, I cannot lie, I was not like really on top of things
Mm.
until it was brought to me.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
but during COVID, it was a blessing. It was stressful because
Hmm.
I became a homeschool mom, but
Okay.
um I really did enjoy it because
Mhm.
it gave me the chance to like really see where each of my kids were academically and like what they really needed help with.
Okay. So you prior to that, you were just floating along and just hoping
Right.
they were okay. Because I wanted to stop you and say, "Why? What do you mean you were not up on it?" You know me,
Right.
right?
So it was like, I'm at work, you going
Oh,
to
okay.
school,
Got it.
I'm expecting you to do what you have to do.
Okay.
It
Hmm.
wasn't really dawning on me that, okay, like my oldest might need attention in this area, or my
Okay.
youngest might not need so much attention in this area. So being home with them allowed me to really
Hmm.
hone in on their specific needs when
Got
it
it.
comes to
Okay.
school.
Hmm. And so you think the relationship now probably it changed, right, with all the time that because you mentioned you are at work all the time. You know how
Mhm.
sometimes we're living this life and we're just going back and forth. So now that you had to be home, you all were home together, you had to homeschool, you learned a
Mhm.
lot about them. Um, what
Yeah.
would you say? So how are you dealing with the differences now?
Um, well, I'm more aware now.
Okay.
So like I know how to approach it now. And before where I'm like, oh, you gotta do this, you gotta do this. Now I'm like, okay, like my child might learn differently. And so how can I
Mhm.
get her the support So that I'm not
Mm,
making her feel a certain way because she doesn't learn the way my other daughter might. They both
mm,
need like different support. And so um now I'm able to get them each the kind of support they need. Like my oldest daughter, she really benefits from tutoring. So she has tutoring now twice a week during the
mhm.
week and once on the weekends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is interesting too when we talk about what was happening prior to COVID, then when COVID hit, and then what happened to families, to
Mhm.
everybody, right? And there was a lot of like sadness and death and bad things, but there was also a lot of great connections being made between parents and children. And I know a
Mhm.
lot of parents said it drove them really crazy. How did it go for you? How did you get up on becoming a homeschooling parent, right? Homeschooling.
It was a lot because I still had to work remotely,
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
figuring out how to navigate their schoolwork and then this whole new how to navigate my job from home. It
Mm,
was a lot.
mm-hmm,
But I also, over time learned, okay, like you have to take breaks because it's nonstop and
mm-hmm,
you're going to short circuit and you're going to blow up for no reason.
mm-hmm,
So I really had to like, when I had a break, I would like go outside and sit in the car just so I had my time to myself to get away from everything so I could
mm,
regather myself and then
mm-hmm,
get back in with a clearer head.
mm-hmm. So you knew how to take your moments, right, to really refresh and bring yourself back.
It took
Yeah.
some time though. It did take I can't say that, "Oh, I automatically knew it." Like, it took time to be like, "Okay, you need a break." So,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And then, yeah, and I can imagine too having to stay on top of your kids and make sure they understand the work. This was different for them, and
mhm,
a level of knowledge that you had to have also around even navigating the homework and the
mhm,
computer work and the
right.
time. And it was interesting too because I heard one parent say it would when her son went back to school, how it would be interesting that he can't just get up and walk to the refrigerator and get food anytime he felt
Yeah,
like it,
it's a readjustment. These things are
or just take the breaks. That
It is a readjustment, like getting back into the schedule of getting up and getting dressed and
Mhm,
traveling to school and
mhm,
like time management. It is
mhm,
definitely a readjustment for both parents and students.
mhm. How are they doing? I think we've been back in school for a while. How are they adjusting to being in school? And
Um, I would say that they're adjusting well. Like they both wanted to go back and didn't want to go back at the same time
mm,
because
mhm,
they were used to, okay, I don't have to really do anything to get ready for school except turn on a laptop. But
mhm,
at the same time, the social component was missed. So
okay,
you
okay.
know, they
Mhm.
were both very happy to get back and be able to actually see their friends and see their teachers and have that connection with other people aside from us in the house.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, I think that was a big part of it. You worked in the school, right? And
Yeah, I
so
work in a charter high school in Brooklyn.
how did you went from talk about your career? So you got your degree in accounting, right?
Mhm.
And are you doing accounting now? What do you what?
Yeah, so sorta, kinda.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
the role I do at the school is an operations associate.
Mhm.
It's really I say it is because I do business manager duties. So I do inventory and reconciling money and
Oh, okay.
purchasing. So I do things like that, but I also do like office work.
Okay.
So I'm
Okay.
kind of in the field.
So you've been in working in high school for a while, like higher ed?
No. So I I spent a lot of years working with like the IDD community. So that is the intellectually and developmentally disabled community.
Okay, I was gonna say the IDD. You must have seen my face and went, okay, when am I gonna say what's the
So
IDD, right?
um
Mhm,
from from 20 to, I want to say, maybe 32, I worked in that field.
oh,
And
okay.
um yeah, it was an easy field to get in. My mother has worked in that field my entire life. So
Mhm,
it was a field I was used to. I was
mhm,
knowledgeable about it, and even though it wasn't, with my degree, it was work at the time. Um,
mhm,
and so I did that work, and then
mhm,
I also did, how I got into the school was, I had a friend, Roxy.
mhm,
She's a professor at Hunter College, and
mhm.
so
Okay.
they were looking for people to be note takers for students with disabilities.
Oh, okay.
So I
Mhm,
was like, okay, at the time I had left my previous job, I was like, okay, I could do that. So I went and did that for a while. And
mhm,
then I have a friend who became the principal of the high school that I work at now. And she was like, they had some open positions. And because
mhm.
I had a degree in accounting, she felt that I would do good in the role of operations associate. And so, that's how I got into that role.
Mhm, mhm. That's good. That it's really. I ask all these questions because I'm inspired and impressed with the way you've navigated through, given the things you started with, right?
Yeah.
Given the way and all the things that are working out for you, right? And how it's worked out. So it's a great story. And I'm sure that those are parts of the things that you're sharing in your blog because um,
Mhm.
many people give up. They don't think they can do it. And just by hearing your story and knowing where you come from and where you've gone can inspire many people to say, yes, I can do it.
Yeah.
So I like that you're sharing that story and writing that, in your blog.
Right.
Let's talk about spiritual practices. And so usually I ask every week, I ask everybody to take us on a story of their spiritual journey, right? How you grew up, teenage, college, and where you are now. So your storyteller, take us on a little journey, right? In your
So
spiritual
once
journey.
upon a time,
Once upon a time, right? I was, right?
so I was born into a Muslim family,
Hmm.
hence the name, very
Mhm.
Arabic.
Yeah,
And
okay.
so most of my family is still Muslim. Growing up, we did like acknowledge that we were Muslim, but in my mom's household, we weren't like very strict. We didn't like wear the kima or the
Mhm.
hijab. We didn't go to the mosque. We didn't do the prayers, but that was essentially our religion. I think it was maybe I was 9 when my mother decided to convert to Christianity.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
and so it was very different. Um,
Mhm.
she like dove into that. So we were in church all the time.
Mhm.
Um, we was in church all the time. So
Okay. Right.
um, we would pray every night.
Mhm.
It was it was interesting. And
Yeah, because I can kind of think like, okay, so as a kid, like you have this one religion and you've learned it and you practice it, and all of a sudden it's Christianity and how you reconcile those differences. Did you just like cut off that Muslim side and just follow her and just accept the Christianity too, like that?
I mean, so yeah, because I was 9, and
Yeah.
what
She said, what
received
else could I do at 9? Right? No, but I
I
hear you.
wasn't even aware of what like religion really meant. It was just
Mm.
like, okay, this is what we say we are. Like I didn't know what it meant to be a Muslim really. I
Oh,
didn't know what it meant to be a Christian. I just know that my mom was like, okay, we're converting, and I was like, okay. So,
hmm.
um, you know, I'm not sure what kind of church it was though. Like when we first converted, we went to this church where like you had to wear like white dresses every Sunday. Like
Mm-hmm.
when we got baptized,
Mm-hmm.
they took us like out to the ocean and
Oh, okay.
us and everything. And then as time went by, we started going to, I guess, what would be the Baptist or Methodist churches.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, that was my religion. And
Mm-hmm.
at this time in my life,
Mm-hmm.
I don't really have a religion. I can't say that I am anything. I do believe in a higher power.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in like the universe. I believe in like calling to your ancestors, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm just figuring it out, honestly. But
Mm-hmm. Do you ever think about any of the? So, did you just totally dismiss Christianity and being a Muslim, or do you see any ways that you use any of that, or it's just like,
so I wouldn't say that I dismissed but being a Muslim.
mm-hmm.
Um, we really never practiced it in my.
Okay, okay, I see. So it's not like okay, it was something that you knew and you did,
It
right?
was something to
Okay.
where, like, okay, if I'm going to my grandmother or my aunt's house, like, I may have to go to the mosque with them. But in my
Mm.
own house, like, we didn't practice
You
it.
didn't practice. Oh, okay, okay. What about your kids? What are you doing with them
Um,
around spirituality and
so when I had my daughters, like, I was still going to church and things of that nature, so they are aware of that religion. They know of Jesus Christ. We used to pray,
mm,
the Our Father prayer, the Lord
mm-hmm,
is my shepherd prayer. I
mm-hmm.
used to have a friend of mine when I was at work pick them up and take them to church.
Okay, okay. So Christianity, right?
Right, but I kind
Mm-hmm,
of feel like it's the same thing for them. They don't really know the construct of a religion. They just know that
mm-hmm,
okay, this is what my parents say we are, and so that's what we are. And so I kind of want them to like as they grow older, like
mm-hmm.
figure it out for themselves as well. I don't want them to feel forced because I feel like a lot of people that I know who were like forced into religions as
Mm-hmm.
they got older, like totally like
Rejected it all,
the
right?
religion.
Yeah,
So
right.
I haven't totally rejected um, Christianity. I'm just trying to figure out like what I believe for myself. And so,
Mm-hmm,
um,
mm-hmm.
yeah, my kids believe in God, and still believe in Jesus. And until they grow up and figure it out on their own, I guess that's what they'll be practicing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, it is good too that you they have a base and they can go to church. Sometimes when we're all over the place and not sure what, we
Yeah,
think about how it impacts our kids. Because I know I went through a whole phase, a lot of different things around religion and spiritual practices, and it's great that my kid ended up with her own right after being exposed to like all the things that we go
hmm,
through. So, but it's really good when they can find something, because I think that having some kind of spiritual base or some kind of belief can really, really support you in your life, right? And
yeah,
you talk about spirituality and a higher being, and I also like to talk about like practices. How do we practice these things, right?
hmm,
What things support us when we're in the midst of turmoil, right? What comes to mind? What things can support us? And I know for me, one of the things that I'm practicing a lot now is like really watching my thoughts, right? Because I totally believe that in this like energetic flow, and it's based on the thoughts that I keep, and then that's the energy that I will project and then I'll receive. So and it is a practice because we think so many things and so much goes on that it takes something to Watch your thoughts, control them, and when you find them negative thoughts, you really have to be in it, but not just get caught all up in it. Because I'm generally trying most of the time to have positive thoughts about things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so what one another thing I talk about is the spiritual toolkit. You know, what things support you? What practices do you have? What are some of the spiritual practices that you can talk about that support you? If you had to build a toolkit, what would you put in it?
So I definitely still pray.
Okay.
Pray all the time.
Hmm.
Yes, I pray. At one point in time, meditation was working for me, but I don't know if I've like grown out of that or if I'm
Hmm.
at a different stage. But I try to get into that now. I don't know. I guess my mind's all over the place. I really can't get into that. But aside from praying, what I do now is I have a manifestation book. And
Hmm.
so, I write down stuff in the book and I try to go to the book every day and repeat the affirmations that I've written in the book.
Hmm.
So I
Hmm.
find that helps me like center myself,
Hmm.
um, especially with the thoughts. Like, I totally agree with you on like trying to have positive thoughts. Um, I've been a little stressed lately
Hmm.
with work and stuff, and so I have to constantly remind myself, okay, like these thoughts can really be like detrimental. And so
Hmm.
as soon as I realize like I'm focusing on the wrong thing, I try to, I guess, what am I trying to say? Like redirect myself.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, those would be the practices that I have right now.
Hmm. Um, how, as a writer, how do you use your writing? So you're a poet, right?
I mean, I've written poetry before, but I
Mhm.
I, I don't go out and like perform
You
poetry.
don't go out and we're like,
Right.
right.
Uh-uh.
That's not one of the things. Oh, so what kind of business do you have?
So I'm trying to turn my blogging into a sort of kind of business to where I could get like sponsorships and
Hmm.
things of that nature.
Hmm.
I don't have like an official business like yet.
Right. So what's in your manifestation book, right? What are you trying to manifest around this
Oh, so
business, right?
I do want to write a book.
Hmm.
That's in there. Um,
Hmm.
it's right here. Let me grab it one sec.
Okay. Mhm. I like the idea of a manifestation book because there was a book called Write It Down and Make It Happen. Have you
Okay.
right. In that book it talks about manifesting through writing down what you want to have happen. So a manifestation book to me brings to mind the whole idea of write it down, make it happen.
And I totally believe that it works. Whether it be in a book or through a vision board, I
Hmm.
think there's something powerful about like writing down or putting down in the physical form things that you want to bring about. So,
Hmm.
also in the book, I have just starting businesses. Like I want to start like a home essential business, and incorporate like like candles and things of that nature, but also incorporate like healing stones.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, I was like essentials. I started so many things.
That's all
Right,
your taste. That's all your
right.
taste.
Home essentials, right? That's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so all right. So around creating atmosphere,
Yeah.
energy, like when you talk about
Healing
candles,
energy
right?
and like yes,
Mm-hmm.
your aura. And I
Mm-hmm.
was I was talking to my sister. I don't know much about it, but I was like, you need to get your chakras in order.
Right. You just feel like getting your chakras in
Right.
order will
So,
support
you
you,
know,
right?
I'm looking into that, trying to research it. So like when I started, I know what I'm talking about and not just saying any old thing to people. Like people
Mhm.
are really into like healing stones and things of that nature. And I'm not trying BS people out here just to get a coin. Like I really want to know
You
what
want to know what
I'm
you're selling, right?
right.
Well, what inspired you though to go? I mean, there's just so many different businesses and so many things you could do. What's inspiring you to do the whole candle healing stone thing?
Because um for years, like self development has been a very
Mm,
big thing in my life. Like, it has helped me change me and my perception of things, my approach to things.
mhm,
And I think if more people focused on like mental healing and
mm,
physical healing, like it could help get us to a better place. I
mhm,
know that it's definitely helped me, and if I could like share that in any way with other people, I would love to.
mhm.
So
Yeah, and I hear self development. Yeah, is and I can see the connection between really getting in touch with yourself, taking care of yourself, and the idea of like using candles and oils
mhm,
and healing crystals and all of those things are part of a practice of really taking care of yourself.
yeah,
And I also looked at to all of that too as a part of a spiritual practice, you know, where you have your candles and they bring you a certain amount of calm and you create the space where you feel relaxed and calm. So I could see all of that as being a part of a spiritual practice.
yeah. I mean, the world is it's really stressful out here, especially nowadays, and so
Mhm.
we got to figure out a way to bring ourselves peace. No, however that looks. So
But yeah, because so many people are even before COVID, people were having a lot of mental
mhm,
problems and mental distress. And even now, it's just so
yeah,
much more
yeah,
because of so much of the uncertainty about what's really going on, right? All of a sudden, I started asking everybody, so what's the difference between vaccinated and unvaccinated people? Not that I wouldn't, I
Well,
understand, right? So, no, the reason I say it, I promise you, the reason I say it is because I came to this thought about well, people don't want to be around people who are unvaccinated. Are they afraid that they will give them COVID as opposed to people who are vaccinated now that they're saying you can get it also when you're vaccinated? So I don't want to get into all of that, but in my mind, I started like going crazy trying to understand, right? Why? Wow.
yeah,
So I guess I need to do the research to get clarity for myself
right.
around being vaccinated and unvaccinated and how we mix together. I think that's more of what I'm thinking about, right? How we come together. We all should still wear masks, right?
I agree.
But yeah, so there's something in there that I'm trying to get clarity around.
Yeah,
Mixing with vaccinated people and
I
unvaccinated
think a
people.
lot of people are trying to still get clarity around vaccinations, so what it means to be vaccinated or not be vaccinated, and yeah, I think a lot of people agree with you on that point.
Yeah, exactly. So I encourage people to get because you don't want to get deadly ill. So it does protect you from that, right? But
That's
you
what they
know, that's what they say, right? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's one of those things like politics, religion, and vaccines we don't talk about, right?
mm,
Because
right.
it's really like everybody gets to make their own choice. So another thing that I wanted to talk to you about was I know that we did momentum together, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I love momentum, right? It's one of the places where I felt that I always level up or go to a new level, or even self-care and self-development, and getting more in tune with what I want and how to manifest what I want, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
been my experience with momentum. Can you talk about like where you were before momentum, how that experience has supported you in where you are now?
Um, yeah, so I don't think I would be talking about this, self-care and a lot of stuff I wouldn't be aware of if it wasn't for momentum. So I definitely am grateful for my experience there. Before momentum, I want to say like, I don't know. I feel like maybe I was in a fog. Like
Mm,
it just cleared up a lot of stuff for me, especially like with parenting. Like a
mhm,
big thing for me was my mothering. Um,
mm,
I was like, I just did not want to be a bad mother. Like that was something that was stuck in my head. And um, you know, uh as an adult, I can now see like how great a job my mom did with what she was given. Like the
mm,
knowledge that she had,
mhm,
the tools she had. Like I feel like my mom did the best she could. And, I don't not down talking my mother. I love her to death.
mhm,
But there were certain things that I was pretty much imitating in my relationship with my girls. And it
mm,
was not healthy. It was
okay.
beneficial at all. And so um going to momentum really helped me to change my relationship with my daughters for the better. And so
Mhm,
um even like I said, during the pandemic, being able to like really sit in and hone in on what support they needed and like knowing the difference between the two. Like I wouldn't have those tools if I
mhm,
didn't get that through momentum. Um,
mhm,
a lot of the self development stuff that I implement in the self care started with momentum. So uh, you know, like I'm very, very grateful
mhm,
for that experience. It
mhm.
really is a life changing experience if you allow it to be.
Yeah, it is one of those experience where you have to be open to it and embrace it and go through it. And you have to be ready. Not everybody is ready at the time.
It's true.
And being able to walk in and take advantage of the program and everything that they're trying to teach us, right? And I think we all come out on the other side better, enhanced with something different, and it feels, and a community, because we still communicate with each other.
Mhm.
You come out with people. I don't think you've done much back at momentum, but you have all of us in our little group.
I mean, I was in there happy for a while, doing trainings and stuff.
Hmm.
I fell off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, right. No, it's so funny. Yeah, I did it for a while. I was doing some trainings recently for the leadership program, but I haven't done it for a while. I did some of the virtual ones. So they're now coming back, and I'm excited that they will be able to come back to share this training with a lot of people, because it really has been a really powerful, powerful
Mhm.
training. Um, is there anything else that you would like to share with the audience today, Miss Amina?
Mm, Uh,
She's like, gonna know, why?
yeah. I don't know, Granetta.
Right. You're so funny. I don't know. I think, right, we've covered a lot of things tonight, right? And I'm excited that you could come on and talk to me. I know when I invite people on, sometimes they'll say, "What am I going to talk about?" But
Oh my
it's
goodness.
right. I
You
know
were
it's
panicking. I was about to cancel on you 5 minutes before this.
you
I
were
was like, I can't do it.
It's
But
like nothing that I don't have anything to say and everything. No, no, Lola. I really appreciate that you jumped in. It was just, even though, and when I asked you, you said yeah, and then you panicked after that, right? But at least you said yes, and it's really, really been great having you.
thank you.
And thank you for sharing with us tonight. And I will be in touch with you, and we'll get to go out for brunch or something soon.
Okay, well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. It wasn't what I imagined it to be. It was a good time.
Okay, good. I'm glad it was good and that you were able to get through it. So thank you so much.
No problem.
All right, take care.
You too.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining me once again on Conversations with Reverend G. I am Reverend Grenetta Mason, and I'm here every Monday night on WEMS Radio from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Each week, I bring different guests and we talk about life, we talk about love, and we talk about spirituality. The spiritual toolkit is really important to me because I think that it can support you in living your best life with joy, with grace and ease. And the practices that you can consistently practice will also support you when you're feeling like out of it or when you're feeling like you need clarity or break. So I encourage you to explore your spiritual practices as a part of your daily life because I think that spirituality can be used on a practical basis and we talk about all the different practices. And I love that it could be writing, it could be singing, it could be praying, meditating, chanting. There's just so many different ways that we can use practices to support us in living our best life. So I'd like to leave you tonight with the thought of what are you doing to take care of yourself? Self care is so important in mind, body, and spirit. So I challenge you to look at what you're doing to take care of yourself. And I'll see you right here again next week on WEMS Radio Live. You can find us on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitch, and the WEMS radio app. Have a great week.